Hey guys, it's THER here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to actually increase the amount of frames per second you have in game, as well as lowering your ping. Now, there's been a lot of videos basically explaining that you need to go into the files, which they're not exactly wrong, but I'm basically going to focus on what you can do without really going into the super technical side of things. So the first things first is when you open up your game. Actually, the first things first is to uninstall and reinstall the Epic Games browser. This includes like Fortnite as well. By doing so, you're going to get rid of any unwanted files that are in there. It's just basically going to clear it out. Myself, if you've had like the game for multiple seasons, you have a lot of access files that you do not need that are actually slowing your game down. So first thing you do, you uninstall the game, reinstall it. Once you're done that, when you actually have the game opened, make sure all browsers are actually closed out. Any background, any YouTube that you're playing, literally any extra browser that you have is going to take more CPU and GPU usage, which will in fact lower your game quality. So once you have everything closed, you actually can close your Epic Games browser too once the game is opened up. So you just go down to your desktop bottom right corner, you're going to see the Epic Games little black icon. Just right click and exit that out. That actually saves you so much memory. It's pretty crazy. So once you have it all reinstalled, all background is all closed, including the Epic Games browser, that'll still keep your game up. What you're going to do next is, if you come into the actual settings, you can lower your resolution to something like 1280 by 720. Or even something in between, like 1600 by 900. Your settings might be a little bit different. These are all the same ratio, 16 by 9, which is what Epic wants. But the less amount of pixels that you have being used basically means the less amount of memory your computer needs to run that. So if you go ahead and lower that to the lowest setting possible, that helps a lot. Next would be to cap your frames per second. So myself, I obviously have a computer that can handle 144 hertz. I also have a monitor that outputs the same amount of hertz as well. So if you're running a 60 hertz monitor with a computer that's barely being able to handle like 60 FPS, some people have it set to unlimited, and what that does is it basically overclocks your computer, making it so that you can't really run what you should be running. So if you really can only handle a 60 FPS, put it to 60 FPS and cap it. Otherwise, if you put it to unlimited, you're just going to be overclocking your computer, which is going to run a lot more usage than it should be. Brightness, not really necessary. Like, this part of graphics isn't a big deal. Your quality. Now, you can do a preset if you want. Myself personally, I just use view distance at medium just because I think near is a little bit too near, I guess. But as you can see, even though I have a computer that can run 144 frames per second, I still have everything set to the lowest it possibly can. I could do that near if I really wanted to. What this does is, obviously, the lower amount of effects you have and shadows, the less work that your computer needs to do, which ultimately makes it for a lot smoother experience. So go ahead, turn all those down to low or off. Next thing you're going to do, VSync. You're going to turn that off. Motion blur, turn that off as well. Basically, as you can read there, it says that it basically helps with your making it so that your screen doesn't tear or anything like that. Like if you're having a lot of screen tearing, which is like, it's hard to show on here if I'm not having screen tearing, but you can look up some videos. If you're having screen tearing, you can turn that on and it'll help, but it's going to give you some sort of delay, which you don't really want an input delay. Motion blur, you turn that off. That basically just means you're looking around, blurs things in between. By doing so, again, uses more memory, so turn that off. I show my FPS just for the sake of it. Now you can use the, if I want to use the beta one, you could, if your computer allows it. Personally, I choose to use the regular DirectX 11 just because it's in beta. I don't really want to run anything that's not for sure set in motion. They could be changing things. That's why it is in beta. And if your computer does support it, allow multi-threaded rendering. That's a big thing. By having this on, it'll definitely boost your FPS, and yeah, it'll just make a lot better of experience, to be honest. Let's let's see if there's anything else that I need to run over here. I will mention windowed mode. You should always be in full screen. If you're in windowed or anything like that, it's going to cause a delay, just a slight delay still, but definitely be in full screen for the best experience. And one other thing, if you go into the sound quality, if you put this to low, you'll also notice a huge difference in terms of quality. Now, it's going to take some getting used to if you've been playing on high sound quality, just because some sounds are a little bit more deafening than others. But by putting it on low, you're going to notice that it not only increases your FPS, but everything will just be running a lot more smoother. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to increasing your FPS for in-game. The only other thing that I can think of as far as increasing your, lowering your ping, it really just comes down to what type of internet connection you have. There are still a lot of people that use wireless connection, and if you can avoid that, do so. Get yourself a good Ethernet cable. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, maybe $10, $15. Plug that bad boy into your modem and into your computer, and you'll notice a huge improvement. And the same thing goes for console as well. If you're running wireless, you're going to need to make the switch to wired, because that's the wave, basically. You're going to notice that your ping would go, as an example, let's say if you're running 60 to 70 ping on wireless, when you're on wired, you'd be dropping at least 30 to 20 ping. So you'd be down to like maybe 40 ping averagely, which is a huge difference if you're a competitive player, or even if you're just a casual player. You're going to want the best quality that you can play with. So yeah, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely drop a like, rating down below, subscribe for more content, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.